Hello, this is a Gors and Kallmann upright piano, 1925, just come into stock. It's about 129 centimeters high. I'm just assessing it on this video, and we're probably going to repolish it. That's why it's in the polishing room. This is a similar age Steinway upright piano that's just been finished, and we polish it in a way that will bring out the best in the grain. And I think this Gors and Kallmann is going to look every bit as good as this. Now, looking at the pedals, there hasn't been too much wear on this piano at all, as we'll see from the hammers in a minute. But I do think the piano pedals are slightly high. That's the original caster possibly, but I would like the pedals to be a bit lower. That's just something personal perhaps, but if the pedals are lower, it's helpful. The only problem with that is it will decrease the legroom, but there is a lot of legroom. There's my leg, normally that's touching on a Yamaha, but there's at least 4 centimeters more, or 3 centimeters more. So for a tall person, this would be fine. Well, maybe we should debate that. I'll take that back because it'll decrease the legroom, won't it? But and the pedals are low enough, really, and they're bent forward slightly, so maybe we can keep them as they are. You can see the piano's been kept closed for a huge amount of its life because there's not very much wear on the piano. It's 1925, hardly any wear. The key tops are pretty much perfect. We do say sometimes if you keep the piano closed, then that will cause the key tops to go yellow. Hasn't happened in this case. In actual fact, yellowing is just as much a question of how the sweat comes off the hands and causes the key tops to go yellow. So you'll find the middle section's often gone yellow. There's a very slight chip on this one. We can repair that pretty, making a visible repair almost on that one. Here's the top of the foil, and you can see it's a totally different colour from the underside, and that's what happens if a piano is left closed for a long time. But I'm sure we can make that good, and we'll probably go for a colour that's between the two, and will show up plenty of the grain. Now, looking at the inside of the piano, it's really in extremely good condition. The action, as I say, doesn't seem to have been used. It's hardly out of regulation. A little bit of regulation to do on the dampers. Let's listen to the tone. And as you'd expect from a Gors and Kallmann, it's typically German. It's full tone, very well made piano. Good break point. Needs a bit of voicing here and there. But the hammers are hardly worn. If we look at the hammers, we'll probably not even need to reface them, maybe just a little bit. So it's remarkable how pianos can go for so long without being used. The tuning pins are set beautifully and very, very tight. I thought I'd mention for technicians, that damper we've improved. It was like this. Hear how it's ringing on, that one, and this one. That was even worse. And that one's been cured, and it's just because it's hitting one string before the other. So if you listen to those two strings on this one, they're the same. Listen to this one. Hear that one ringing on, and this one not. And it's because it's hitting this string before that string, the damper. So we just need to make the left-hand side of the damper squash it a bit. Basically, take the action out, squash the left-hand side, and then both sides of the damper will go in together, and it will cure the problem. There's a little bit of echo on all these top-quality German pianos. It's always going to be the case because the strings are so resonant. So finding the bottom bass there, you can still hear an echo, and if I play a chord in the middle, you can hear echo because that's the bass not quite being cut off properly. But you get that on, say, all types of upright pianos, especially German ones that are very resonant. It's an 85 note piano, by the way, like lots of the old German ones are. There's a slight nick in a key top there that we'll need to make good. And looking down the bottom of the piano, it's in perfect condition, the soundboard. 1925 is an excellent year for Gors and Kallmann, so I'm really pleased to have got this piano. A bit dusty at the moment, it's just come in. So that's an assessment of a Gors and Kallmann upright piano made in 1925. Very, very good year for Gors and Kallmann, as it is for so many of the German pianos. Extraordinarily well made. I was thinking about possibly taking the casters off to lower it so the pedals were less high, but if you have a problem with legroom, I would leave it as it is, but you could do that. There's so much legroom, you could easily manage to do that if you wanted to. It's not really an issue because they've sloped the pedals downwards anyway, so it's not absolutely essential. But just the only comment I've got to make to improve it, apart from regulation, and as you can see, it needs polishing. So it's definitely a good candidate for that. It's a good enough piano to polish. It's worth doing. We apply 30 coats of French polish, by the way, and finish it off with antique waxing. So it brings out the best in the grain. Needs some voicing, so just regulation, voicing, polishing, and probably some other things we're going to find along the way. But it's going to be a really special piano. Thank you very much for listening.